advantage in the opening round. The puck drop, the official one, brought to you by Washington's Lottery. We're underway. Seattle controls. They work it in behind the Silvertip net. RTM maneuvering up the right side, clear to center ice. Kindopp collecting for the red line, skates in right wing, Seattle zone. Wrist shot, save, rebound just out of the reach of Dewar. Fairbrother fires, left point knocked down by traffic. Dewar at the left boards and rims it in behind the Seattle net. Robbie Holmes hustling over right corner, worked on by Owen Williams. Holmes pokes it free to the blue line. Manulin controls, skates into the slot. Now left circle, a backhander on net. Save made by Ross, diving for it, and just covers in time before Bryce Kindopp could get there and get control. And our first whistle of this game coming 38 seconds in. Referees assigned by the Western Hockey League this evening: Brett Iverson and Sean Raphael, Adam Harris, and Nathan Van Oosten, your linesman.
It's a strong opening shift for the Silvertips, and capped off there at the very end by Artyom Manulin, making an aggressive play, skating right between the circles, taking it towards the goal line. He is starting to play some of his better hockey here with the Silvertips. As I mentioned, 3 assists in his last 4 games. Very capable. A great point producer for Swift Current last year.
Thunderbirds control. Left wing, Sean Richards, ex-Silvertip. Snapshot too high. As that one ticketed to the glove side corner of Wolf, and the puck to center. Tyrell Bauer flips it back in. Tips regain as Christensen. A long feed ahead. Right wing Patterson and across the line. Cross ice feed. Andrew Siak, and a save made by Ross. Got that one blocker side. Seattle skates it back out. Noah Philp dangles to the right circle. Wrist shot in tight. Save made by Wolf off the pad. Rebound to the far boards. Andrew Siak can't clear. Jake Lee holds for Philp. Snapshot left circle. Blocked by Wiley. Puck to the backboards is now Christensen jumping in, battling Kubacheck. Wiley feathers it left side. Tips control. Got the clear off the glass. Into the red line. Ashton fires it back in behind the Silvertip net. Minute and a half plus gone by as Christensen wings it up the left side off Gage Gonsalves. And behind the Seattle net, Berezovsky controls, battling Ashton. And was forehand protecting, leaving it Vitelli to Berezovsky in front. Save made. Rebound Gonsalves, kicks it back. Kara to Gonsalves, and a one-timer. Save made by Ross. Got that one diving with the glove. It might have been going wide, but still Ross going all out to make the stop. And Seattle gets the clear, 17:58 to go. Tips regain Kindopp right wing and across the line. Low wrist shot blocked by traffic. Vitelli in deep, paddling behind the net with Kubacheck. Peyton Mount for the Thunderbirds. To the near side, kept in Walker. Return to Kindopp for the Silvertips right corner. Ashton took it back. Hit by Robbie Holmes. On a puck funnel back toward the line, kept in by Walker. Looking to the right corner and Holmes collecting. Protects it now with this big body. Walks out left side. Holmes now looking for Kindopp. Cycling Dewar behind the Seattle net. 14 points in 7 games in this head-to-head series. He flips it back. Kara at the line. Shoots. Save made by Ross. Off 7, Kara's bid from the left point, and Ross hangs on. Tips so far, so good. Strong start, Justin. They've outshot Seattle 4-1 with 7:18 to go here in the first.
Yeah, very reminiscent of last night, the way the Silvertips, they're just so quick right now through the neutral zone. As soon as the defensemen are getting the puck, they're not retreating any further than their own blue line. They're snapping it up. Really good work, keeping the throttle down, keeping the pressure on Seattle, and they have gotten some decent looks already here against the Thunderbirds.
Face-off left circle is controlled by the Thunderbirds, and Henrik Rybinski will look left wing for Volkin, but he's offside. And a whistle now with 17:12 to go here in period number 1. The Tips need a win to clinch home ice advantage in the opening round of postseason play. Magic number stands at 2, so if they don't do that, they need some help, and can also get that done if the Spokane Chiefs lose in regulation, overtime, or a shootout. Owen Williams guns this one back in behind the Silvertip net. The goaltender Wolf now gave it away, and Wedman somehow fanned on his bit of the left boards. And the Tips dodge a bullet as they skate it back out. Dawson Butt dumped it behind the net. The goaltender, Roddy Ross. Left side for Volkin. Swings for Tishka. Look to Wedman. Slows it down back at the red line. Now collects down the right wing. Silvertip zone, and his wrist shot taken care of by Wolf. And he hangs on with 16:44 to go in the first.
Yeah, I think a nice save there to settle Dustin Wolf down. Very aggressive, very competent handler of the puck behind his own net. We marvel sometimes at how good he is, how strong he is with it. And he didn't make the greatest of plays or decisions from behind his own net, It wasn't, though, catastrophic as Wedman came up with it. What made it worse was that Wolf kind of compounded the first minor error by, I think, catching his skate on the back of the goal there, and he took a spill just to the side of his crossbar, but it was an open net for Wedman to look at, and he didn't get any bit of that shot on net. It didn't get as far as the face-off circle.
Face off to Wolf's left. Seattle controls, and Jake Lee from the point. His wrist shot blocked. Richards follows up, bouncing one in deep, knocked away, and a second chance. Bumped by Richards toward the crease, and Wolf covers up here with 16:35 to go in period number 1. Wolf coming off 21 of 22 in saves last night against Tri-City. Career against the Thunderbirds, 6-2-1 with 15 goals allowed in just 9 games.
Yeah, and I said in postgame last night, we cannot take for granted how great Dustin Wolf has been in his 17-year-old year. First year between the pipes for the Silvertips as their starting goaltender, and he has just been amazing, putting up numbers night in, night out.
Tips clear, Gage gone. Solvus will toss it back in behind the net, looking off Berezovsky in the right corner. At the hash marks. Cycles for Holmes, rather Gonsalves, beg your pardon, and taken away by Noah Philp with 16:15 to go. Puck clear to the Silvertip line. Wiley returns it left side, and a feed too far out of the reach of Reese Vitelli. Noah Philp collecting through center. Right wing skates in, drop past Kukucha, snap shot, missed the net. Rebound picked up by Richards and battling Conrad Mitchell left corner. Wiley jumping in. Forcing one up the right boards to center ice, and Mitchell will feed it back in. The Tips begin their change in behind the play as Dewar jumps out with Justin Gurney, Ronan Seeley, and Saban Kara. Bouncing puck back to Seeley, but they're going to call hand pass on the Silvertips here. And a whistle blows with 15:43 to go in period number 1.
Yeah, Gurney came in and read that play well. The Thunderbirds were trying to go out of the zone by elevating the puck, but as they threw it, it was right in the path of Gurney. Got his mitts up there to try and grab it and put it down, but instead bounced off of his hands and right to Seeley. That's a hand pass, and faceoff comes outside of the zone.
22nd of February, last time that these two teams met up. Tips lost that game 3-2 in overtime on a game winner by Jared Tishka. Face-off outside of the Silvertip blue line. Tips control, the Thunderbird blue line. Seeley shoots it back in and played now by Roddy Ross, the goaltender, to the far boards and kept in by Holmes. Returned by Kubacheck to the blue line. Seeley kept it in. Wheels one around now to the right corner. And now Kindopp looking in deep for Holmes. Collects and now takes it in front. Save made by Ross. Rebound at Kelty. Jerry Leon got the clear. Also got a crunching against the right glass. Tips regain. Left wing Connor Dewar plucked away from behind by Jerry Leon. Loose puck, Dewar collects. Looks off right wing Andrusiak. Pulls up in the circle. Snapshot blocked by traffic. Matthew Wedman picks up an encounter for Seattle. And he'll toss back in pursuing with Saban Kara. Wedman behind the net, double team. Kara took it away. Lead toss left wing. Andrusiak to Patterson. Back to Andrusiak left wing. Seattle zone. Gains a slot. Backhander save. Rebound in front. Dawson Butt fires. Save made by Roddy Ross. 14:41 to go. Ross was sprawled out on his back. And Dawson Butt, a glorious opportunity. Glove side. But Ross takes it away low and keeps it 0-0 for a whistle.
Yeah, it was almost a little bit of a change-up there. I think the initial shot that came in, and Dawson Butt was in there, and the rebound sprang. It just kind of sprang awkwardly to the left. The shot from straight away, but the rebound came out to the left and almost right through the legs of Dawson Butt. It was sitting there, but he was engaged in a pretty good battle with Nolan Volkin. Couldn't find it, and eventually it found its way underneath Roddy Ross.
Face off right circle. Tips control. Artia Manulan had the assist on the clutch game winner last night. Patterson threw it back to Andrusiak and a shot block. Loose puck in from Patterson and lost it off his stick trying to decide on which corner to shoot. Puck to center ice. Seattle clears it courtesy Matthew Wedman. Tips reset. Butt for Fairbrother. Left wing. Sail cross ice. Off Gage Gonsalves, taken away for Volkin to Wedman, left wing for Seattle. Snap shot, routine glove save by Wolf, and he hangs on with 14 minutes and 10 seconds left as now chaos begins to break out at the red line. Shots are 8-4 Silvertips, and these two teams getting even more shots than after the whistle here as player each or for each team right now down to the ice, and it looks like Gianni Fairbrother for the Silvertips. And Nolan Volkin, the overager for Seattle.
Oh, we remarked in last night's contest against the Tri-City Americans how well played the game was and how it kept moving. There were very few post-whistle altercations between those two teams, made for a pretty thrilling brand of hockey. Same could not be said here through the first 6 minutes nearly of this one, and you kind of wouldn't expect it. The way the last few games have gone against these teams, we talked about the disciplinary action taken on defenseman, Thunderbirds defenseman Cade McNeely. We talked, there was basically everybody was dismissed at the end of a hockey game in Kent, where all 10 skaters on the ice were asked to leave. So there's a little bit of bad blood between these two teams lately.
Kind of had that routine feel here for a series like this. There are 3 categories kept here and for Silvertips, highs and lows. Most penalty minutes, most opponent PIMs in one game, most combined PIMs. Games against Seattle rule all 3 of those categories. Tips control, Jay Christensen down the right wing, Thunderbird zone. Hit of the ice by Tishka. Loose puck is picked up by Andre Kukucha with minute 40 left on 4-on-4 time. Kukucha throws it back in, Silvertip zone. Wiley recovers and looks off for Jay Christensen, who will peel behind his own net. He's out there with Wiley, Dewar, and Bryce Kindopp. Here's Dewar through center ice, now rocketing left wing into the offensive zone toward the slot, dropped it for Kara, and the snapshot blocked. Dewar recovered, good read as Thunderbirds had 2 busting back to center, and now Kindopp brings it in left wing. Up against Tishka to the right corner. Now Kindopp threw it in front, and that caught Roddy Ross's stick and almost hit Reese Vitelli wide open at the goal mouth. Philip Lee tossed right wing to center. Owen Williams, and across the line, picked off by Robbie Holmes. Wedman got it, brought it back in, but it's offside Thunderbirds. And a whistle now with 54 seconds left on 4-on-4 time.
You know, Mike, you had a great observation there, and it can't be overlooked. The realization there by Dewar when that shot, when he left the puck there for Saban Kara to pull the trigger, he saw that there was some danger if that shot didn't make it through, and it didn't. The Thunderbirds blocked that shot before it got even past the face-off circles, but fortunately Dewar was there to stop what could have been a 2-on-0 if he doesn't read the play right.
Lead to Wedman, knocks it in deep, Silvertip zone out of the blocker side corner of Wolf. Silvertips regain his Reese Vitelli, a chip and chase right wing, but beaten by Tyrell Bauer to the right corner. 12:42 to go in the first. No score for the Tips and Thunderbirds as Rybinski to Wedman left wing, but crossed up and a puck taken away by Jay Christensen. Silvertips back on the counter as Christensen cruising through center, left wing Vitelli into the zone, dropped to Christensen, and his shot blocked by Owen Williams. Out of play it goes now with 12 minutes and 26 seconds left here in this opening period. Connor Dewar mentioned heading into this stretch drive, saying that everyone wants to win. Everyone has something to prove. And with the standings race and the playoff race, you recognize teams breathing down your neck and trying to pass us, so it's important to get every point as much as possible.
Well, I think that's a great philosophy, get every point. Sounds like the philosophy you should go into every game with, but easier said than done, obviously.
Here's Holmes to Patterson in front, and just off the heel of his stick. Richards right corner. Accidentally bumping one to his own goaltender, and that forces Williams to try to plunge it up the left wing, but again taken away. Patterson low to high to Andrew Siak, top right circle, fed one at the top. Christensen rides the line to his right. His wrist shot knocked down by Peyton Mount as play back to 5 aside. Christensen recovered, fired wide. And a loose puck to Wyatt Wiley. Out of the left corner. Wiley took one of the nets, save made by Ross. And a rebound spiked away by Peyton Mount. Seattle back on the move. 3-on-3 Williams on the right side. Mount fires, save made by Wolf. Rebound picked up by Zach Andrusiak. Hustles towards center. Left wing, forces back in. Knocked away by a double team of Wood and Bauer. And with now 8 minutes and nearly 30 seconds gone by, the Thunderbirds back on the counter. Wood left wing, beaten to the corner by Walker. On a bouncing puck to the backboards, Philp controlling. Walks out left side, chased by Dewar. Puck now forces center. Dewar takes control, forcing his way back in. Ross comes out to gamble. Knocked away by Dewar into the corner, but Ross recovers. Loose puck Gurney to the line for Walker. His one-timer missed the net. Puck now kept in by Kara. Left side for Gurney, cycling. Off the feed now from Conrad Mitchell. And Gurney for Mitchell, left side, shot blocked. Gurney recovering. Now battling Tyler Carpendale. Philp is also nearby with 10:52 to go in the first. Dewar jumping into the boards, trying to poke it free. Kara is there, and down goes Noah Philp as a puck forced to center ice, and play continues. Carpendale works it back in for a Seattle change. Tips recover, Kara to Walker. Right side relays to center red, and Mitchell dumps it back in for a full change with 10.5 to go in the first. Tips now dispatching Berezovsky, Gonsalves, and Vitelli. Now forcing a turnover at center. Vitelli will feed it left wing. Berezovsky tracks it left corner. Finding Vitelli right side out of the corner. Low to high, Manulin for a one-timer, knocked down. Loose puck in front, Gonsalves, and knifed away by Simon Kubacheck. Vitelli leaving it for Berezovsky, right corner. Takes it in behind the Seattle net. Now off his back end, walks out left side. Berezovsky threads it back. Fairbrother pulling up, trying to deke Rybinski. Hands off Gonsalves, right hash marks. Off to Manulin. Skating wide of the Seattle net. Walks out left side. Manulin hangs on, draws a penalty. Into the slot. He'll cap it up to Ashton. The Tips will go to the man advantage with 9:44 to go. No score here in period number 1. Back in a bit. This is Sound Transit Everett Silvertips hockey on KRKO, Everett's greatest hits, sports, and more. Matthew Edmond takes the seat for 2.
Yeah, he does. Trying to pursue Manulin all the way around the ice, and got called there. I think he hit hook or a hold probably, but I wasn't sure we were going to see a penalty call. Both teams are taking a lot of liberties.
Tips control, right point, Christensen, one-timer missed the net. Tips are 6th in the league in the man advantage. Coming in 22% as they spin this one around to the right side. 8 of 35 in the series against Seattle. Christensen kept it in. Looking at the right circle, Kindopp battling Jake Lee. Dewar now battling Bauer. Loose puck to the far corner. Phil trying to clear, could not. Christensen up by Wiley. Tees one up. Save made by Ross. And he hangs on with 1 minute and 33 seconds left here on the Silvertip man advantage. Seattle's penalty kill 19th in the league at 75%.
That was a great job by the Silvertips to stay with that one. Seattle had every right to clear that puck. I think they threw it off their own man right at the blue line, and the Silvertips stayed with it, kept the puck in at the far point, and Wiley let a good shot go with a lot of traffic darting in front of Roddy Ross.
Seattle won the face-off, but this puck's up for grabs and behind their own net. Dewar and Kindopp, and now Andrew Siak going to work, but Tyrell Bauer is there, and plenty of gap to Skuta up the middle. Clears the lane, and we have 1:15 to go on the Silvertip man advantage. Christensen, Wiley, Dewar, Kindopp, and Andrew Siak out there as Wiley's lead feed. Into the zone, Christensen looking for Dewar, and Christensen tapped it back, but well out of the reach of Wyatt Wiley, and down it goes.
Yeah, rushed it, I think, a little bit there. Had some pressure from Kaluski, but he did have time. He just thought he'd throw it to an area, expected Wiley to be there. He wasn't quite there.
Just dispatching their second unit out. Gianni Fairbrother in across the line. Spiked away by Owen Williams. Threw it all the way down. And as Wolf lets it go for RTM Manulin, who's out there now with Holmes, Patterson, and Jackson Berezovsky. No score in the first, 8:18 to go. The center is Fairbrother, dropping it for Patterson. Tried to slingshot his way through, but picked off. Rybinski, a short-handed break. Moves it on net for the backhand, and just wide. He tried to go glove side on Wolf and add some back pressure. But Rybinski forced wide. It stays 0-0. Manulin ahead for Robbie Holmes. At the red line, cutting left wing into the offensive zone. Left corner, scoots around to the blue line. Manulin looking in deep. Wheeled around, Patterson left corner on a feed in front. Berezovsky tied up, and it's cleared all the way back down by Jared Tishka. And Seattle is back to 5 skaters.
Oh, that was an adventurous 2 minutes there on the power play. Nothing to show for either team.
7:33 to go in the first, no score. Phil for Seattle. Outlet toss broken up at center red. Gurney resetting for Kara. Out of the Silvertip zone. Dropping it for Walker. Lead toss up the right. And Dawson Butt tried to tap it back in deep, but it goes for icing. The pass missed him. And a whistle now with 7:20 left here in period number 1. Your place for Silvertips hockey and Everett's new home for greatest classic hits is KRKO. Casa goals, saves, and rock and roll sound for work, home, and the car. KRKO is Everett's greatest hits, sports, and more.
It was a good enough start to the power play for the Silvertips, but they're in the middle stages. Had a hard time gaining the zone. Obviously, the bad misstep there as Patterson overskated the puck led to the little shorthanded chance for Seattle.
Off the face-off right circle, Bauer shot missed the net, and a rebound just punched wide. Off of traffic by Andre Kukucha. Funnel back toward the line, Jake Lee. Cross ice, Bauer off the right point, missed the net. And a loose puck now picked up to the right boards, and Dewar skies this one high in the air and back into the Thunderbird zone. Kindopp and Lee pursuit of the right corner. Jumping in as well, Bauer trying to knife it away from the oncoming Siak. Thunderbirds back to center, left wing Wedman in an offensive zone, looking in front and just bouncing off of Vulcan. And going to work now, RTM Manulin. Vulcan controlling, walked out left side of the net and just deflected by Wedman and wide. Loose puck to the far boards. Kukucha hit by Connor Dewar. And now forced behind the Silvertip net with 6:27 to go. Carpendale gives it away to Gianni Fairbrother. And looking for the outlet seam, but held in by Williams from the line. Grand Bricks jumping off bench. As now the Silvertips rerouted up the left wing. Puck eventually cleared back in Seattle's zone. Dawson Butt hustling over left circle with the Tips also changing behind the play. Taken away by Peyton Mount. He'll skate to center and decked by Max Patterson against the right glass. That got the crowd buzzing. 5:55 to go in the first. No score for the Tips and Thunderbirds in front of a sold-out barn in downtown Everett. Tips reset. Wiley for Christensen. Gains a red line. Shoots it back in. Glove side corner of Ross. Jumping in. Holmes now trying to shake off Tishka. Walks out right circle. Holmes now dropping it for Wiley, cutting wide of the net. Snap shot. Might have grazed the glove of Ross and deflecting wide. And now play blown dead with 5:31 to go here in the first period. And it looked like it was knocked down, I think, with a high stick, Justin.
I'm wondering if it was maybe a high stick from the Thunderbirds that they're calling it, because I did see a signal for a high stick, but they're going to keep the face-off in the zone. That's a little strange, but it's going to benefit the Silvertips here. Not sure about that. Not sure if I followed that call, but we'll take it.
Vitelli at the circle. Left side, but won by Seattle, and it's cleared back to the Silvertip blue line. Kara to Walker up the right wing. Berezovsky relays it into the zone. Centering attempt by Gonsalves. Rolls back off the left boards. Kara skates it in deep. Looking Vitelli, but knocked away again by Kelty Jerry Leon. Seattle clears it to the Silvertip blue line. 5:08 to go. Kara's rink wide feed. Berezovsky. Right side leaving Vitelli into the zone. Centering attempt. Blocked by Kubacheck. Berezovsky now eyeing Gonsalves right corner. Checked by Kubacheck as Vitelli jumping in. Kindopp busting off the bench. As now to the right side, Vitelli. Cycles in deep, Gonsalves. With Kubacheck on his hip, leaving in for Kindopp. Wrap around, lost possession. Kindopp got it back and a save made by Ross off Kindopp's forehand bid. 11th shot on net. And the Silvertips fighting their way inside the dots, but Ross again takes it away low to keep it 0-0. 4:42 to go in the first.
And it is tough sledding behind the Thunderbirds net in the corners and behind the goal line. Seattle is all about tying up, grappling, holding, and just making life difficult on the Silvertips. Gage Gonsalves not the biggest guy, but he really worked hard there to set that one up for Kindopp.
At the line, Manulin. Left point feed, Fairbrother scoots it wide. Loose puck in behind the cage and taken by Holmes. Beaten by Williams. Tried to clear, kept in by Fairbrother. Holmes now from the line gives it away to Tishka. 4:26 left. Tishka cruising on through center to the Silvertip zone, cutting left side of feed in deep for Wedman. Sharp angle bid. Knocked away by traffic. And a loose puck to the backboards with 4:15 to go. Wedman and Manulin battling. Rybinski looking in front. Chipped away by Dewar. Puck now rolls free to the left circle. Tips collect and Fairbrother trying to clear. Kept in by Vulcan. On a centering attempt, picked up by RTM Manulin. Tips get the clear to center ice, and Kindopp will feather it back in for a change with 3:53 to go in period number 1. Patterson, Dawson Butt. Zach Andrusiak jumping out for the Silvertips as Seattle works the back end courtesy Owen Williams. Left corner, Carpendale hit by Walker. Jumping in as well, Breckenwood. Along with Jackson Koleski as now Patterson flattens Carpendale. Tips regather. Patterson lead tosses center. Kara a tap ahead. Siak looking left circle and Butt collecting left corner. Low to high feet. Kara goes cross ice. Chipped away. Carpendale got the clear. Walker behind Koleski. Knifed one to the corner. Left side Silvertip zone. Koleski in behind the net. Centers and just out of the reach of Richards. Jake Lee controlling now left circle. Cutting in deep for the back end. Turned away. Lee swats it well wide of the net. Loose puck now rolls in front to Wood. Save made by Wolf. As he turned away, Breckenwood. Tips control. They get the clear. 2:55 to play in the first period. No score.
Oh, that was a wild bouncing puck there. It was going a variety of different ways. Wolf was ready, though.
Richards right wing skates it in. Snapshot blocked by traffic. Williams follows up. Shoots one and just missed the net. Kept in Philp for Richards right corner. Walking out right side. Richards all the way to the top. Left circle. Shoots. Save made by Wolf as he got that one in the 7-hole. And turns away his ex-teammate Sean Richards with 2:33 to play in the first and stays 0-0.
Yeah, that was the most kind of pressing I've seen Seattle right in front of Dustin Wolf's net. They've kind of got in there, got in his way, got contact with the Silvertips netminder on a few occasions there in the last couple of minutes. And they really were pressing hard there. It wasn't the most gorgeous tic-tac-toe passing, but Thunderbirds seem to come up with those bouncing pucks. They seem to find them. They locate them really well, and Wolf did well to answer it.
You could say poise under pressure, which this team, when they're at their best, they thrive on it. Embracing a very physical edge. That's been their calling card for their franchise's existence. And 2:18 to go in the first period. Tips taken away. Holmes into the slot looking Kindopp and spiked away by Matthew Wedman. Up the right wing, cleared off Rybinski. Back in deep Silvertip zone. Two Tips collapsing on Rybinski and Wedman. The third one also jumping in Connor Dewar with 2:02 to go in the first period. Penalty coming up and it's going to go on the Silvertips here. And contact against the backboards. Brings a cross-checking penalty on Gianni Fairbrothers. So Seattle will get a man advantage in the late stages of period one with this game 0-0.
Yeah, it was a tie-up there. Looked like Rybinski kind of had his skate on top of the puck. It wasn't going anywhere. He was just looking for a little bit of support. And as it came down in there, got a chance to look at that replay. Fairbrother put a hand on the back of Wedman, who took a tumble face first. And don't know that he got that much of help to go down, but Wedman certainly went down pretty easily.
Thunderbird man advantage, 15th in the league this season. Tips penalty kill very good. They're third, and they demonstrate it right here. A quick face-off win and clear. And they'll go Patterson out with Christensen, Wiley, and Zach Andrusiak. To center ice, Noah Phil. Stick handling. Left wing feed Silvertip zone to Wedman. Try to go up high, but taken away and cleared down by Andrusiak.
Oh, Andrusiak read that like a book, almost like he had played with Wedman for a few years or something. He knew exactly where he was going to go with that puck and jumped in there first.
Oh, wait, he did. No score here. 1:24 to go in the first period, and Philp to center ice. Gain the red line. They'll feather it back in. Blocker side corner of Wolf. Puck chipped away, Christensen. And now looking for Bryce Kindopp. Got the clear back into the Seattle zone. Thunderbirds have Tishka, Kakucha, Wedman, Philp, and Kubacheck as they feed one to the right corner, and now Kara going to work up against Philp with 1:01 to go. Puck rolling left side, kept in Kakucha. Taken away, Reese Vitelli near board. Tips take off, 2-on-1, short-handed. Vitelli, right wing, fed one across in front and just knocked away over the crossbar by Dewar. Puck thrown back to center by Reese Vitelli, and RTM Manulin takes his time. Banks one ahead, left side, Vitelli. 38 seconds left. The Tips were oh so close on a 2-on-1 between Reese Vitelli and Connor Dewar. Kubacheck dropping it for Mount to the center red, Nolan Vulcan. Running over right side and knocked away by Reese Vitelli and feathered back into the Seattle zone.
Yeah, they were very, very close. The door was open there on the back door, but it just got deflected and I think just danced over the top of the crossbar into the right post.
Vulcan to the point, Kubacheck, left side Richards. Cutting over to the circle and dropping it for Jerry Leon. Cutting back up high and looking to center point, Kubacheck. Left side Richards, cross ice, Jerry Leon, save made by Wolf. And right into the mitt as the green light comes on to signal the end of period number 1. More pushing and shoving, but that's it. Dustin Wolf closes out period 1 with a save up high on Kelty, Jerry Leon. And also finishing off the Silvertip penalty kill. 0-0 our score at the end of 20 minutes.
He had to fight that one off pretty hard. It was a pretty good wrist shot from Jerry Leon that came on a pass that went right through the teeth of the Silvertips penalty kill from the left circle, the top of the right circle. Got it on there, shrugged the shoulders, held on right at the horn. Entertaining first period. No score, obviously, but good action both sides. Opportunities for both teams, certainly.
This building here today, in some sense, hosting a doubleheader. Army-Navy game taking place back at 2 o'clock. They finished up just before the Thunderbirds rolled in at about 4:30. The Tips also not too far after that. And the 7:05 affair here to complete this Saturday. 19:44 to go. Bouncing puck at center, knocked away by RTM Manula, and back into the bench. Out of play it goes 18 seconds in.
It showed some of the highlights from that Army-Navy hockey game that started at 2 p.m. I think very befitting the rivalry matchup that we see here before us. There was some collisions in that Army-Navy game from what I could tell on the highlight board.
I got spurts of it in pregame prep, and it got vicious out there. Not to mention what can't be buried. Great crowd on hand here for what was a free admission game back at 2 o'clock. About a good nearly quarter to half of the lower bowl filled, and as well the upper bowl additionally. And it provided quite the atmosphere here, which you heard the celebratory goal songs, including Anchors Away when the U.S. Navy scored. Right wing, Bryce Kindopp, snapshot missed the net. And a rebound rolls all the way back into the Silvertips end with 19:08 to go here in the second. So back to hockey matters now. The Silvertips have outshot Seattle 12-10. And they dispatch Connor Dewar, Zach Andrusiak, Dawson Butt up front with Wiley, and Jay Christensen back on the points. Dewar battling Noah Philp. Thunderbirds recover as Philp up the right wing to Kukucha. Tied up by Butt as Andrusiak trying to knock it in deep. Dewar going to work as well. And Dawson Butt bumping one of the net and turned away by the blocker of Roddy Ross. 18:35 to go in the second period. Williams, long toss, broken up. Silvertip line. Rerouted by Wiley, and now Butt to Andrusiak right side, and a save made by Ross. As he got that one to the 7-hole, and Ross hangs on. Stopping Zach Andrusiak. The ex-Thunderbird with 18:27 to go, and we get a whistle here in the second.
There was an example of how the Silvertips can be so dangerous. The defenseman, strong pass up the boards. Dawson Butt with a really delicate little play at the blue line. Got the puck in the neutral zone, quickly got it in, and as he was facing the onrushing defenseman, just slid it ahead for Andrusiak to skate onto. Whipped the shot away. Andrusiak could have passed it to Patterson. It would have been tight. Loved the shot there from Zach Andrusiak.
16 goals last 24 games as now Ian Walker fires from the right side. Off the boards, glove save. Rossi hangs on now with 18:23 to go here in period number 2. But really nobody better than Bryce Kindopp on this team since New Year's Day, and barely anyone better in the league. 19 goals, 23 games. Has tied for second in the WHL for goal scoring since the beginning of 2019. Puck cleared to center by Seattle. Butt regathers. Hands off left wing for Patterson. Knocks down Tyrell Bauer in the process. That got the crowd buzzing. And the puck clear back to center ice now with 18:04 to go. Tips regather. Andrusiak ahead off Vitelli. And back into the Seattle zone. Tyrell Bauer controls. Up the wing, Koluski brings it into the offensive zone. Left side shot blocked by Walker. Rebound deflecting in behind for Saban Kara. Looking for Solvus. A chip to center, taken by Vitelli. Potential 2-on-1. Vitelli into the zone, shoots, save made by Ross. Where's the puck? And Ross able to hang on to it despite fending off a collision. Off goes the net, and the clock stopping with 17:39 to go in the second. As Vitelli, a great look to make it 1-0, but stopped in the left circle.
It was a good stop from Roddy Ross, certainly. And we almost saw Jake Lee, Thunderbird defenseman, almost saw him push his own goalie into the nets, and I don't know what would have happened. Instead, he pushed him right into the post, the right post there, and Ross stayed kind of on top of the goal line, but that was a mere inches away from him being pushed entirely into his own net.
Tips control, right point Manula, and shoots and knocked away through traffic. And a puck bouncing left side, taken by Ashton for the Seattle blue line. To Kubacheck, the puck cleared and slingshotted back in by RTM Manulin. Tips now going Kindopp, Holmes, and Dewar up front again. Wedman controlling, and Seattle breaks the center. Wedman left wing forces it in deep Silvertip zone, recovering Gianni Fairbrother. Out of the trapezoid, lead toss right wing Kindopp. Gains a red line, shoots it in a high rising bid. Save made by Ross into the glove. And he hangs on now with 17:04 to go in period number 2. Ronnie Ross wasn't even on the Thunderbirds' radar this last summer. Listed just before the season began, then signed to a WHL agreement right around New Year's Day. Ever since then has helped turn this Thunderbird season around, and 3 times he's made 40 saves or more in a game. Seattle is 3-0.
Oh, he's lightning in a bottle. I mean, they have found a real find for Seattle to dig that one up and get him on this team, because goaltending became a serious issue when they traded Hughes away, and just Cole Schrebius on the roster before him.
Tips control as they kept it in. Into the right corner, Siak looking in front, bounced away and back toward the line for Wiley. Into the corner, Siak. Now looking nearby for Patterson off the right boards and battling Tishka. A chip nearby for Dawson Butt, but the stick leveled by Noah Philp. Seattle controls, and Williams up for Tishka. Left wing to center. Richards knocked down, draws a penalty, and the Silvertips are going to go back to the penalty kill here with 16:36 to go in period number 2. It will be, it looks like Dawson Butt on the takedown, and Seattle, via the tripping penalty, will get their second man advantage.
Butt in the neutral zone, stretching, sort of reaching out, trying to be a nuisance to Richards, but he got the stick right in between the legs of Richards, and as Richards pivoted and turned, the twig came right out of Butt's hands. Richards went to the ice.
Left point Tishka, his shot knocked down, rebound, left corner. Picked up by Kukucha. Recess to the point for Tishka. And looking out to the right side, Philp to the circle. Set one down low, but out of the reach of Wedman. Left corner, Kukucha tracks it. Battling Connor Dewar. Tips regained. Dewar smacks a high off glass, and a loose puck now left circle. Rybinski and Kindopp battle. Kindopp manhandles his man, took him down, clean hit. And a freed up puck to RTM Manulin, and he clears it down the lane.
That's that clean hit example of these two teams. They just go shoulder to shoulder. They don't give an inch, and inevitably they end up neutralizing each other, but it worked to the Silvertips' advantage right there.
Tips have 7 shorthanded goals. Keep in mind, Bryce Kindopp's got 5 of them. Kukucha brings it in right side. Fed it left circle, Wedman looking to the top, but the pass misfire for Tishka, and down it goes. 1:02 to go on the Dawson Butt penalty. The Tips now dispatching Siak, Patterson, Walker, and Christensen. Tishka's lead feed out of the reach of Kelty, Jerry, Leon, and looks like this one sails all the way down. Might have gone out of play as well, Justin. So it's going to come back to center ice now with 55 seconds left on the Silvertip kill.
Heads up in section 106, about 5 rows up. A lot of people leaning out of the way of that deflected puck that still had a little bit of juice on it.
Seattle now shoots it back in. Walker frees it for Christensen, takes his time and tried to right into Volkan, who looked in front, knocked away by Walker. And Richards resets for the Seattle man advantage. Off the circle, centering for Volkan, loose puck in front, save made by Wolf on Peyton Mount. Incredible save by Wolf to keep it 0-0. Stopping the Thunderbird youngster in front. Volkan resetting. Now to the right side. Walks out. Hands off Jerry Lee onto the right circle. Into the corner. Goes low to high for Jake Lee. Off the point. Snapshot. Missing it. Rebound paid to Mount. Tied up by Walker. Tips free at left side and slugged back down the lane by Zach Andrusian.
Oh, what a huge save. Best of the night for sure by either goaltender. Dustin Wolf. Just a reaction. Desperation. Moving to his left. Denied the young Thunderbird Mount.
Dawson Butt back out of the box. 5-on-5 with 14:31 to go. Period 2, no score. Nolan Volkan right wing for the Thunderbirds. Brings it into the offensive zone. Coughed it up behind the net. Wiley spins it. Far boards kept in. Tishka's shot from the line. Kick save Wolf. Rebound Koleski. Now hit by Wiley left corner. Recovered and a shot blocked. Low to high feet. Tishka bounces one in deep. Carpendale centering attempt knocked away. And Wolf able to gather one in as he gets the whistle here with 14 minutes and 8 seconds Left in period number 2, and Wolf becoming a little busier in the recent minutes. But again, looks like he's locked in so far to keep it 0-0.
Yes, he is. And the penalty kill 2 for 2, primarily because of those good efforts by Dustin Wolf, locked in, as you said, and scrambling to get this loose puck, just bouncing up and down. Carpendale with his back to goal, just kind of backhanded that bouncing puck towards the net. Wolf got a stick on it, then reached out on top of his blue paint and covered it up.
Face off to the right of Wolf, tips control. Fairbrother for RTM Manulin. Lead feed left wing, Solvus broken up. Seattle blue line, Vitelli recovering, driving in deep. Now walks out of the right circle. Handing out to Manulin, cutting in deep, a feed to Solvus. Walks out left side. Protects out the back end of the blue line, Vitelli. His wrist shot, missed the net. Berezovsky setting a screen. Just missed on that chip attempt. Seattle moves this one to center, and it looks like hoisted over the glass. And a whistle now with 13:38 to go in period number 2. This season, for every home game victory, BECU proudly donates $100 to Housing Hope. BECU is a proud financial partner of Everett Silvertips hockey.
Yeah, faceoff will stay in the Silvertip zone here, as it was really hard to see because there was a lot of bodies on the far side battling for that. No reaction from the Silvertips, as though I thought maybe the Thunderbirds tossed it out over the glass on their own, but took a deflection, stays in the zone.
Tips go Kindopp, Dewar, and Holmes, and from the right circle, Seattle won it, but it's up for grabs left corner. As jumping in, Kindopp controlling, forcing his way into the slot and shoots it wide. And just miss getting Roddy Ross off the blocker's side post. Lee now chased by Holmes and behind the net. Wedman going to work on Kindopp, 13:15 to go in the second. Fairbrother from the right point hangs on. Up high, snapshot, missed the net. Puck taken by Holmes off the boards and threw one in front. Hit the side of the cage. Dewar is there. Wrap around and knocked away by Ross's stick. Dewar walking out. Dropping in Fairbrother. His shot through traffic. Save made by Ross. And he hangs on now with 12:56 left in the second period. Tempers again begin to flare. And looked like the heaviest throw down brewing in between Kindopp and Jake Lee. That's all broken up, but there are bodies going off here for both teams, and Holmes for the Silvertips and Kubacheck for Seattle.
Yeah, didn't know Robbie Holmes when he came over to the Silvertips from Regina what exactly the skill set was. He's got a little bit of everything. Big body, skates well, can handle the puck. We've seen him score a couple of goals, but he really has a presence in front of the net. He's not afraid to mix it up. He's not bashful at all. Doesn't back down from any confrontation. We saw him last night punching outside of his weight class as he went up against former teammate Aaron Hyman in a battle at center ice. That's a really good personality and a good player to have. Very valuable playoff time.
4-on-4 now as Vitelli won the face-off left circle and Siak shot it wide. Guerra kept it in, handing off to Siak to Wiley. Top left circle, wrist shot, save made by Ross with Vitelli setting a screen. Centering attempt, Siak to Vitelli, spun away by Vulcan. Up for Williams, got the clear, lead toss broken up, and Wiley back into the Silvertip zone trying to force it far boards with 12.5 to go in period 2. Puck rolls free to the right side, Tishka picks up, skates in deep, now collects into the corner, traced by Saban Kara. Loose puck now for Noah Philp. And threading it back toward the line, broken up with the Silvertips and Siak. In a foot race, left side with Owen Williams. Forcing it in behind the Seattle net. And picked up by Nolan Vulcan. Thunderbird captain right side. Got the clear to center ice and Noah Philp collecting. He'll feather it back in, just crossing the Silvertip blue line. And picking one up, Wyatt Wiley with inside 12 minutes left in period 2 and no score. Shots are 19-14 Silvertips. Left wing Wiley into the zone and forced wide as he knocks over his man, Tyrell Bauer. Solvus looking in front. Broken up by Jake Lee, who clears for Seattle and ahead for Peyton Mount. Leaving it left side, Richards coming into the Silvertip zone. Lost his edge. Battling RTM Manulin. Tips regather. Manulin ahead of Patterson. A touch for Wyatt Wiley to center ice. Gonsalves collecting. 2 T-Birds back skating as Gonsalves right side. Now cutting toward the slot and broken up by Mount of Seattle. 11:15 to go in the second. Richards ahead for Mount. Relays left side for Jake Lee. He'll anchor it back in and bails for a change. Silvertips collect again. Here comes the pit bull. Connor Dewar for a 3-on-2. Into the offensive zone, dropping it into the slot. Kindopp fires and blocked by Williams. Loose in front, and Kindopp just missed. 10:51 to go in the second. Again, the Silvertips, an outnumbered break and just missed. Robbie Holmes now crashing toward the right corner. Broken up by Tishka. Dewar in the battle as well as Holmes trying to force it in deep. Play to 5 aside. As Dewar collecting. Forced back toward the line. His wrist shot wide. Rebound picked up in the near circle. And clear back out by Kubacheck. Rybinski checked as center by Dewar. On a puck forced back in deep by Owen Williams. And Wolf will leave it aside for Wyatt Wiley. Long feed up the right boards. Kindopp to Vitelli. Chipped away by Kubacheck. And now Wedman laid out by Wyatt Wiley. Silvertip blue line. Here comes Vitelli into the offensive zone. Cut to the right side. A shot save made by Ross, and a penalty coming up on Seattle with 10:05 to go in the second. After all that chaos. Now we have Andre Kukucha mixing it up with Wiley against the glass. And bodies converge not too far away from the Silvertip bench. Pretty obvious attempt here for Seattle to even things up. The Silvertips are trying to bite their tongue, so to speak. And off goes Rybinski in what should be a Silvertip power play.
Yeah, Wyatt Wiley had Wedman in his sights, tracking towards him, just gliding over to the far side. Wedman tried to throw on the brakes right at the blue line, but it was to no avail. Wiley just steamrolled him, took the puck away, brought it the other direction. Rybinski tried to get exact a little revenge for his line mate there. Tried to go after Wiley away from the play, gave him a couple of shots and wouldn't let well enough alone. And then Seattle trying to even the score, as you said, to try and draw Silvertip into taking a penalty there. But Silvertips do not. They go to the power play. And a chance here midway through the second to get the first goal for either team.
Their second man advantage this evening. Andrew Siak, Dewar, Kindopp out there with Wiley and Christensen back on the points. Tips control Christensen. Left point. Shoots it wide through traffic. Picked up Andrew Siak with 38 goals this season. New career high. And trying to force it back, but taken away by Noah Philp. Seattle back on the move to center as Philp left wing. Into the zone. Snapshot. Missed the net. Loose puck to the right side, and Vulcan will stuff it in deep. With 1:37 to go on the Silvertip man advantage. Wiley threads one ahead for Kindopp right wing. Halted by Jake Lee at the Thunderbird line, but Kindopp stuffs it in deep. And Dewar in pursuit, but broken up by Tyrell Bauer and sent back down the lane. Dustin Wolf holding now for a Silvertip power play change. As Kara off the bench. And now jammed away by Wedman on a walkout and knocked away again. Second attempt, save made by Wolf. And now Wolf able to cover up here with 1:10 to go on the man advantage. And more bodies pile up into the blue paint. More pushing, more shoving. There will be more bodies into the box. As now looks like Holmes and Bauer almost separated here for a bout behind the Silvertip net. And the Tips also dodging a bullet, so to speak, right around their own net here to keep it 0-0.
Was in there after the whistle, angered the Silvertips and ended up drawing that penalty on Kara.
Wiley shoots it in. Around in the left corner, picked up by Richards. He's got some wheels here, and he'll flip to center ice. As Vulcan hit by Dewar, but in pursuit, Kubacheck will bounce it back in toward the Silvertip net. And scooped up by Wolf with 8:53 to go here in period number 2. Between periods 2 and 3, we'll have Tips talk for you. So if you want to enter here for a chance to win a cool Silvertip prize pack, go ahead and tweet back at myself or Justin Morrison. I'm at Benton_Mike. Justin's also at Tips ATG for Tips Talk. That coming your way in the second intermission.
I think what's frustrating, obviously, about negating part of this power play opportunity is it was so unnecessary. Just something that didn't need to happen behind the net or in front of the net there. But it happened, and now the Silvertips will have to deal with this 4-on-4, where they've looked really good, but then also a small Thunderbird power play.
And now Richards and Patterson colliding. Tips, so take off. Christensen left wing into the zone, centering Wiley to the right side. Lost the puck, and now Wiley forcing one to the front. Covered up by Roddy Ross. And a whistle now with 30 seconds left on the Silvertips. 4-on-4 here with Seattle. Progressive Wellness Center is the official chiropractor of the Everett Silvertips. And call 425-355-5000 today to schedule an appointment.
And more stuff after the whistle. Kubacheck and Patterson, the two involved this time, as it looked like Kubacheck stuck his stick out, caught Patterson. Patterson didn't like it. They exchanged a couple jabs, and cooler heads will prevail for the time being, and just keep the face-off right here in the Seattle end.
Dewar, Kindopp, Christensen, and Wiley here for the Silvertips in the right circle. Koleski, Williams, Kubacheck, and Karpin for Seattle. And Koleski wins the draw. Fed one and back, but Dewar hustling over, broke it up. Trying to cycle, but Williams stepping in and funnels it up the wing, and Koleski finding Simon Kubacheck. He'll cruise the center. And now left wing into the zone and cut back to the slot, but his snapshot taken care of by Wolf and right into the glove. And a whistle now with 12 seconds left on 4-on-4 time.
Yeah, and the 4-on-4, it's happened a couple times already this game. I think the Silvertips have looked the more aggressive of the two teams, but right now, with just those 12 seconds left on 4-on-4 action and knowing that Seattle's then going to go on the man advantage, you have to be very careful here. Don't need to overcommit to the attack right now, because you have to be very aware that there's going to be a Thunderbird coming out of the penalty box in mere moments.
To the right of Wolf, the Tips win the faceoff. As Dewar feeds Fairbrother in behind the net. Pursued by Andre Kukucha. Wedman closing gap. Kukucha takes over, so that enables Seattle to set things up. Kukucha walks out left side. Rink-wide pass out of the reach of Noah Phillips, so the Silvertips will take that. To center it goes, and Tishka brings it back in. Left side, centers, Kukucha walking in, save made by Wolf. Rebound loose, and Rybinski spits it back. And Tishka along the boards, hit by Connor Dewar. Tips control, Dewar clears, that's up and out. And deflecting over the back glass. Seattle zone with 7:41 to go here in the second period. There is some discussion down there as far as who deflected that thing out. And it's going to come back into the Silvertip zone as well, pretty close, because if that doesn't touch a thing, Justin, that's also delay of game.
Yeah, it is. I remember in the playoffs last year, Tri-City Nolan Yaremko fired one the length of the ice over the top of the netting. That was a delay of game.
Off the right point, Tishka fires, hit the post. Glove side of Wolf, and it's spit back out. Penalty coming up here, a tie-up against the backboards and a slashing call. With 7:33 to go in the second period, it's going to go back to 4-on-4, and then the Silvertips will get a shortened power play of their own, and Henrik Rybinski takes a seat.
Yeah, second time he's made his way. I don't remember him in his previous games against the Silvertips. He was acquired from Medicine Hat. He's really, his career has blossomed since coming over to Seattle. He has more points in his 30 games with the Thunderbirds than he did in 70 games with Medicine Hat, but he has really been sort of agitated. Something is under his skin this evening, because he has been ultra aggressive. Just before he took this penalty, he gave Connor Dewar a shot in the back after the whistle. Took note of that, and this time he will not get away with the slash as he goes to the box.
23 points in 25 games since that trade, but he's off here for 2, so it's 13 seconds of 4-on-4 time as Holmes got dumped nearby the net, but play continues. Nolan Vulcan speeding his way through center, now right wing, snapshot up high, save made by Wolf, rebound in front, and just slugged wide by Vulcan. Still 0-0 our score as Saban Kara jumping out of the box, and the Tips on to power play number 3. Manulin's outlet to Patterson. Looking left wing, out of the reach of Robbie Holmes as that skips in deep. Seattle zone. Carpendale hit by Manulin. Puck shuffle back to the point, Kara. Cross ice, Fairbrother, his shot blocked by traffic. Sitting loose, it's cleared back down by Jackson Koleski. All the way toward the Silvertip crease, and Wolf launching one ahead right side. Jay Christensen stuffs it back in deep Seattle zone. Minute 7 left on power play time for the Silvertips. And now Richards takes it away on a shorthanded attack. Left wing Silvertip zone. Richards' wrist shot calmly handled by Wolf. And he'll hang on here with 56 seconds left on the man advantage, and still no score here in period 2 and 6:29 to go.
Play tonight has been really kind of ragged, maybe the right word for it. I mean, there's been not a ton of flow. The whistles, the penalties, and just You can tell the guys are trying really hard out there, but almost an instance, I think, Mike, where the effort is too much, trying to do a little bit too much, and that has led to a little bit of opportunities. Richards there taking advantage of a effort by Everett to keep the puck in the zone, chipped it by the man at the point, and was off to the races.
Face off to the right of Wolf, and Kindopp out against Matthew Wedman. Face off won by Seattle, and Richards takes it into the left corner. Sharp angled shot missed the net, and kept in for the line by Williams. A puck returned in deep behind the Silvertip net. Wiley collecting, slings it up the middle. It rolls wide of the Thunderbird net, and all the way it goes for an icing call. So the Silvertips scuffling a little bit in this power play. And they have 40 seconds left on it here, but we'll start about 200 feet away from their own net.
Yeah, they really haven't been able to get much of anything going. Haven't had the puck on their stick for very long in the Seattle zone, despite it's now probably about 50 seconds of power play time.
Face off left circle, Tips control. Christensen's feed. Too far ahead of Zach Andrusiak. That goes for icing again. And now we have 6:05 left in period 2. El Paraiso Mexican Grill is open late after the game. Catch happy hour daily, 3 to 6, 9 to close. And the tastiest Mexican cuisine in Silvertip country. El Paraiso with locations in downtown Everett, Snohomish, and the Silver Lake community.
Sometimes it can be trying to do too much, and sometimes, as was the case right there, just the little things. Christensen to Andrusiak should have been an easy 10-foot pass, but it just didn't quite connect.
Wiley's long toss skips off Kindopp and deep in the Seattle zone. Bauer gives it away. Andrusiak to the front. Backhanders turned away by Roddy Ross. As Andrusiak cruised over to the base of the left circle. And Ross got all of it with 18 seconds left. He gets a whistle here on the Silvertip man advantage.
Well, let's see one last opportunity here for Everett on this power play. Offensive zone draw. See what they can dial up.
Vitelli against Phil. Solvus, Berezovsky, Fairbrother, and Kara joined out there for the Silvertips. Face-off won by Seattle. Here they come to center, and Philp getting on by Kara to the right side. Snap shot missed the net. And a loose puck scooped up and cleared by Vitelli. A grade A shorthanded look for Noah Philp as he turned one defender to the inside. Vulcan right wing. Snap shot turned away by Wolf. Rebound to the right boards and Solvus. Goes opposite side for Fairbrother, but hit now by Philp. Played a 5 aside. Philp up high for Kubacheck. Rolls it wide of the net. Kukucha tried to center and locked up with the Silvertips. Reese Vitelli. Lead feed left wing. Solvus relays it in deep. Berezovsky to the backboards, now battling Ashton. Solvus takes the cycle. Now right corner hit by Kubacheck. Solvus breaks free, shoots, save made. Solvus rebound. It rolls back to center point Wiley. Left side for Butt, shoots one, save made, rebound jammed away out of traffic. Wiley held it in from the line. Handing off for Dawson Butt, snapshot Fandon, loose puck. Wiley one-timer, save made by Ross. Rebound back to Wiley. Takes it in behind the net, buried by Noah Philp. Play continues, Philp outlets, Carpendale left wing. Hit by Christensen, Tips take over. 4:32 to go in the second. No score, back in the Silvertips, Christensen. Into the offensive zone and copped up to Matthew Wedman. Clears it left side. Down it goes for an icing call. And a whistle now with 4:22 to go here in a scoreless second period. 20 Corners Brewing Company is proud to recognize local active and retired military personnel at every Friday and Saturday Tips home game. Nominate yours by going to EverettSilvertips.com.
Well, there's an example of the Silvertips defenseman, Wyatt Wiley in particular, trying to get things going, getting aggressive, found himself on the puck there below the faceoff circle.
Right point Wiley, one-timer blocked by traffic on a faceoff won by Dewar. And a loose puck in deep taken by Kindopp. Out of the right corner. Boards it low to high. Wiley point to point for Christensen. His wrist shot blocked by Kukucha. And bouncing into the right corner as Kindopp goes after Wedman. Scooped up by Holmes and forced back up high. His shot blocked by Wedman. Seattle back on the Marcia center ice. Wedman left wing into the offensive zone. Met by Wiley. Dropped it. Williams, his high rising wrist shot. Save made by Wolf. And he hangs on here with 3:52 to go for a whistle.
Well, there's chances at both ends. Seattle doing a good job there, actually. I thought the Silvertips looked like they were going to pin him in the neutral zone, but Wedman sort of navigated and weaved his way around a couple of players and left it there for an opportunity for the Thunderbirds. But this herky-jerky second period continues. Tough to tell right now. I mean, neither team really gaining that much of an advantage. Shots are still very, very tight, which is the way it was situated after 20 minutes of play.
It's a lot of back and forth. It's 24-22 right now. The shots in favor of the Silvertips. Slide edge face-off circle. 20-19 over Seattle. Tips work it back in deep. 3:41 to go. A puck in behind the Seattle net. Koleski met by Berezovsky. Tips take over and Vitelli in the left corner. Bumped by Jake Lee. Vitelli boards it low to high. Fairbrother. Off to the right point. Manulin shot. Dipped just a little bit. Missed the net. And loose to Jake Lee as the Silvertips keep it in. And Berezovsky reroutes it over right corner for Vitelli. Bumped by Tyrell Bauer. Gave it away. Dawson Butt tees one up. Save made. Rebound in front and just out of the reach of Andrew Siak, who couldn't settle a rolling puck. Koleski for the Thunderbirds. Hit by Vitelli. Loose puck at the line. Slapped back in by Kelty Jerry Leon, but it's offside now with 3:02 to go here in a scoreless second period.
Oh, that was a rocket off the stick of Dawson Butt. The truest version of a one-timer you'll see, as that puck sort of fluttered right towards him. He was turning and swinging all in one motion, and he got all of it, and Ross got just enough of it as it came out of his glove and out in front of his net.
Dawson Buck coming back from a 9-game absence due to injury. 2:52 to go here in the second. As Seattle has puck possession. Williams is lead toss right wing off Rybinski into the benches. And more pushing and shoving here with Jay Christensen in a 0-0 tie. Well, the Silvertips again, if they can win this evening, it would lock up home ice advantage in the opening round of postseason play. Magic number at 5 here for the division title, but now after this one, they take on the challenges of the road. 6 games left, 5 remaining on the road as well.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge challenge coming down the stretch for the Silvertips.
Tishka fires it back in. Tips have Spokane, Tri-City, Portland, Seattle, and Victoria ahead, and then come back here for the regular season finale against Victoria on March 16th. No score, second period, 2:30 to go here. Loose puck left corner for the Thunderbirds. And now cycle into the offensive zone. It's Philp off the left boards and dropping it for Tishka, cutting wide. Snapshot knocked down and cleared back out by Dawson Butt. Tips change up now as Philp regains and leads it right wing. Rybinski trying to relay for Philp out of the corner. Low to high for Williams. Off to the left point for Tishka. Looks for a shot lane. Williams one-timer. Partially fanned on. Off the boot of Robbie Holmes, and a loose puck now rolls in behind the Silvertip net. Picked up by Wiley. Lead toss up the right wing. But for Holmes and chipped away at the Seattle blue line. Delayed offside Silvertips. And Seattle regains as Tishka shoots it back in from center red. 1:44 to go in the second. No score is now Wolf trying to plunge it right boards, and that hit traffic, but right to a Silvertip. And Manulin up the left wing for Robbie Holmes. Took a bump from Vulcan and Dewar, working one ahead for Kindopp, who got tripped up by Tyrell Bauer. And you can hear some groans out of the crowd, but no penalty. Vulcan boards into center ice up the left wing. Kukucha dodging one check into the offensive zone. The relay pass in front. Perfect read by Kindopp. And flush back to center. Here come the Silvertips in the scoreless game. Right wing Dewar into the zone. Left side. Fairbrother shoots and blocked by Vulcan. Puck deflecting up high. Now to the right corner for Kindopp. 1:05 to go in the second. Leaves for Solvus. Low to high for Fairbrother and a one-timer. Glove save by Ross. And he hangs on with 59.8 to go in the second period.
Thought we were going to see our first one there. It was a really well-executed transition play from the Silvertips. Counterattack, turning defense into offense. Got the puck out of the zone. Dewar put on the Jets. Kindopp took a lot of attention as he just drove right to the front of the Seattle net. 2 Thunderbirds went with him. Opened up a glorious shooting lane for Fairbrother. Just missed. It was a great play.
Off the left circle face-off. Seattle controls, and now Philp chugging ahead to center ice and brings it in right wing. Centering attempt out of the reach of Karpin. And Berezovsky smacks it off the far boards. Kept in for the line by Tishka. A puck return far corner. Wiley controlling up the right. Vitelli got the clear, and Berezovsky sends it back in. Now we get a whistle with 37.4 to go. I think this will be an icing call, and this is going to come all the way back. And with 37.4 to go, still nothing our score, and indeed an end zone face-off here to the right of Dustin Wolf.
Yeah, about the strictest interpretation of icing you can get there is, I think Vitelli might have been straddling center ice as he whipped that puck into the zone, but Silvertips make a change, able to because it was in the neutral zone, and now deal with a defensive zone draw.
Patterson up against Wedman, tips control, and Manulin using right boards, got the clear back down, but this is an icing call for sure as this sails a length. And a whistle now with 30.7 to go here in period number 2. Sold out barn on hand here this evening. Tips right now 5th in the league in attendance at 5,440 per game. That's their highest since 2010 and 11. And a crowd this evening of over 8,300 here to bump those numbers up even further. 23 seconds left, no score in the second. Intense theater brewing here this evening in downtown Everett. As now Rybinski hit by Patterson. Inside the line, got the clear. Seattle regains. Tishka sends it back in. Loose puck, Rybinski swatted away by Dewar. Volkan got it back, shoots it wide. And now with 4 seconds left, Fairbrother a big hit on Rybinski. And Rybinski retaliates on Fairbrother. Trying to skate away here. And leave nothing to chance here as far as penalties. And we have hit the end of period number 2. Neither goaltender blinking so far. Nothing tie. Dustin Wolf 26 saves, Roddy Ross with 22.
Yeah, that another night where goaltending has really shined. The physical play, though, you're starting to see more and more. I think in the first period, we went about halfway through before we saw any real after the whistle tension. And then this one tonight, or this second period, started to get more and more. Lots of words for the officials, lots of words for each other. These teams are playing hard, just don't have anything to show for it up on the scoreboard right now.
Play underway for the third period. Nothing our score. Here in downtown Everett, Mike Benton, Justin Morrison with you. Tips are trying to break out of their own zone, and Connor Dewar flipping one to center ice and knocked down by Tishka back at the Seattle line. Return to Williams, who throttles this one down the length, and icing is the call now with 25 seconds into the third period.
Mentioned in the intermission that expected the Silvertips to come out as strong as they did in the third period last night. Even with that strong third period last night, it took almost half of the third to finally get that breakthrough goal. Feels like it's going to be more of the same here this evening.
As we said with Dennis Williams back in our pregame chat, never is an easy night in this U.S. division. 30 seconds gone by. Seattle controls, and Tishka fires it back down, but no icing this time. As Rybinski and Fairbrother meet into the corner. Wedman stepping in. Puck threaded back out by Kindopp. Tips got the clear as he goes rink wide for Holmes and feathers it back in. Blocker side corner, Roddy Ross, and the Tips now change up behind the play. Seattle takes it back, Williams. Off the right boards and looking ahead, Kukucha, the relay out of the reach of Sean Richards. Tips turn it back as Andrew Siak on a cross ice feed. Spiked away, Kukucha got the clear. On a break, left side, Philp to the net. Save made by Wolf. And a rebound left corner. Dustin Wolf keeps it 0-0. Richards to Kukucha. Low to Heiford, Jake Lee to the right point. Bowers shoots and blocked by the Silvertips, Max Patterson. Richards sends it back. Bauer to Lee off the left point. A shot again deflecting wide. Richards off right circle. Centering attempt for Philp and knocked away by traffic. And a puck cleared off the right boards by Max Patterson. 18:25 remaining. Period number 3, 0-0 our score. Philp will push it back in deep behind the Silvertip net. Christensen looking off for Fairbrother, hands off for Vitelli. Scoots on through center ice into the offensive zone. Wrist shot, blocker save Ross. Rebound to the left boards for Gage Gonsalves. Vitelli into the corner. Sharp low to high feet. It's a good one. Fairbrother fires and missed the net too high. Walker into the right corner for Gonsalves. On the cycle, Berezovsky. Low to high. Walker one-timer knocked down by Zachary Ashton. Walker trying to keep it in. Seattle retains as Jackson Koleski. Up the wing and spiked away by Reese Vitelli. 17:37 to go. The Tips keeping the puck deep in the Seattle zone, but now are changing so that enables a breakout. And Koleski shoots it back in for a change.
Yeah, able to get the change quickly, but Seattle has to do the same thing. They just have to dump it in and go for a change of their own.
17:22 to go here in the third. Manulin trying to spike one ahead, but broken up by Vulcan. Brings it back in for Seattle. Into the slot, and a shot blocked by Bryce Kindopp. Deflecting up and out now with 17:15 to go here in the third period. To update you, Spokane at Tri-City, they are tied 2-2 early on in period 3. Portland is up on the Kelowna Rockets. Right now 1-0 in Kelowna, 14:43 to go in the third.
Tightly contested games. It was kind of the marker of last night's games too. It's just that time of the year, Mike. Everything is a battle.
Tips magic number at 2 for home ice opening round. Magic number 5 for the U.S. division title, and Jay Christensen guns this one down the lane for an icing call.
And you mentioned the road trip the Silvertips are going to have to embark on. So not trying to make too much out of this game here, but boy, it would really be a good note to go off and out on the road on.
Off the point, Tishka's shot, save made by Wolf. Rebounded behind the cage, and Wedman centering for Williams. Save made by Wolf. Rebound, Tips collect. What a stop by Dustin Wolf. Tips counter as Kindopp through center dumps it back in. The Tips begin their change with 16:47 to go in the third. 0-0 our score, and Wedman turns it over. Andrew Siak right wing into the offensive zone. Pulls up into the corner, low to high. Wiley one-timer. Save made by Ross out the left pad. Rebound scooped up. Wiley fires in front, blocked. And Seattle picks up. Wedman to center ice. Left wing, now cruising into the zone. Pass across, missed the open Vulcan. Stuffs it in behind the net. And now Wedman hit by Max Patterson. 16:17 to go in period 3. Puck clear to center ice. Tyrell Bauer. Cochrane, Alberta native, dumped it back in. Tips collect, and Fairbrother up for Patterson. Relays left wing. Now for Andrew Siak into the offensive end, but bumped away by Bauer. Puck thrown to center by Jake Lee and almost served on a platter to Jackson Berezovsky instead. His sails down for an icing call, and we have 15:58 to play in regulation.
Silvertips here. Nice strong play, forcing a couple of missteps by Seattle, nearly taking advantage of them. A couple of shots from Silvertips defenseman Fairbrother had a great look. He just rifled it a little bit high, and then another shot from the blue line didn't quite make it through.
Face-off right circle, Tips won it, but Gonsalves and Manulin crossed up a bit. In Seattle, a free break to center. As Philp up the right wing, Kakucha will spike it back in wide of the Silvertip net, and Wolf settling it to Manulin. Lead toss left boards. Banked out of the reach of Gage Gonsalves. Down it goes. No icing call. Berezovsky leaving it. Gonsalves into the right corner. Chased by Bauer. Takes it in deep, and Gonsalves twisting off of pressure. Curls toward his backhand. And now to the forehand, trying to fight it back up high. And a loose puck now picked up by Reese Vitelli. And a feed off Gonsalves. It pinballs the Kara. Looking now in front for Kindopp. Save made by Ross. Rebound just sent wide. Big save by Roddy Ross, and Kindopp just missed on the rebound attempt. 0-0 our score as Seattle forcing it back in, but offside the call. 15:05 to go in regulation, and Dennis Williams is hot back on the Silvertip bench.
Well, it was a great play. It was a great read by Saban Kara. He saw that the Thunderbirds are a little flat-footed. They were watching a puck and kind of trying to watch the puck out of the zone. Kara stepped in, got it, and they had totally neglected Kindopp in front of the net. He had 2 point-blank chances, and I think, Mike, what he's upset is that after that last miss, after the puck had gone behind the net, he was absolutely leveled from behind by Jake Lee.
14:53 to go here in the third, so again, on a night like this, patience required. Tipton scored last evening to tie things up until 8:40 of period 3, and right now 0-0, the deadlock with 14:41 to go in regulation. The center is Vulcan for Seattle. He'll pitch it back into the glove side corner of Wolf. Going to work Fairbrother. Twisting off of Wedman. The relay ahead for Holmes and coughed it up. Wedman in a shot top of the right circle, knocked down. Rybinski setting it back low to high. Out of the reach of his D-man. Matthew Wedman is shaken up on the play and struggling to get right back to the bench. As Rybinski off the right boards will send this in deep with 14:12 to go in the third. The battle left side. Carpendale into the corner, traced by Dewar. Now loose puck, Dewar coughed it up to Peyton Mount. Low risk shot blocked by Wyatt Wiley. Stickhandling here to survey a lane. Skates to center, will dump it back in. Change coming here for the Silvertips with inside 14 minutes left in regulation. And now Carpendale copped up. It is Siak overskating it. Carpendale regains left wing. He'll dump it back in wide of the Silvertip net. Christensen in deep. Will find Ian Walker open. Lead toss right side up. Berezovsky controlling Solvus into the zone to Patterson and chipped away by Kubacheck. Berezovsky looking low to high, but the pass too soft, picked up by Sean Richards. A counterattack for Seattle with two Tips back skating. Richards left wing into the offensive zone. Traced by Walker and pulls up into the corner. The centering attempt. Kubacheck spikes it wide of the target. Now loose for Noah Philp and checked to the backboards by Vitelli. 13:10 to go in regulation. Puck moving over to the near side. Walker frees the back up for Christensen. Up for Solvus. It backs off pressure by Bauer. And flipping ahead, it's gloved down by Bauer. And right back to Kukucha, who drives it in behind the Silvertip net. Wolf to Kara. Relays Vitelli. Chipped over to Christensen. Maneuvering on past Koleski. Knocked away. The Tips again reset. Shots are 30-25 Silvertips. No score here in the third. Holmes right wing into the zone. A centering attempt. Spiked away looking for Kindopp. Picked off and sent back. Manula, a shot save made. Rebound taken by Holmes and back of the cage. Holmes walks out left side. Looked to center and broken up by Rybinski. Vulcan controls, got the clear. 12:16 to go in the third as Jake Lee resets back in the Seattle zone. He finds Rybinski, cross ice Koleski. Off the right boards, got contact from Holmes and scoots it back in. Tips reset. Manulin goes cross ice. The stretch pass to Holmes. He'll knock it back in. And Dewar pursues the backboard Seattle zone. Dawson Butt jumping out. No score in the third. Inside 12 minutes left. Dewar walks out right side. Hangs on protecting. Forced back up high. Dropping it to Manulin. Low wrist shot to the net. Save made. Rebound spiked away by Owen Williams and cleared.
That took a couple of different caroms on its way in. Ross had his pads on the ice, though.
But left wing off now for Siak. Curls out of the corner. Looking up high and threads it behind the net. Patterson waits for it right corner. Protects with his reach and sends it back in deep. Siak traced by Tishka. Low to high Wiley. Off to the left point for Fairbrother. His shot got through, but a save made by Ross. Rebound left corner for Max Patterson. From his knees, knocked down, gave it up to Kelty Jerry Leon and got the clear. 11:08 to go in regulation. Wiley going cross ice. Broken up by Jerry Leon into the offensive zone and turned over to Patterson. Silvertips counter. Siak winds up through center. Right wing Berezovsky dropped it. Wiley save made by Ross. Off the bid, top of the right circle. And Ross hangs on with 10:55 to go in regulation. We stay tied 0-0.
Well, you can see Wyatt Wiley wanted to get involved there really badly. Put on the wheels. Berezovsky saw that he was coming. Great lead, great slap shot, but right down low, easy for Ross to handle. He squeezed the 5-hole, made the save.
Sold out crowd, 8,387 officially on hand this evening. One more home game to go after this. It'll be fan appreciation night. Tips are hoping they have the division title locked up by then. As of right now, still very too close to call for tops in the entire conference. Face off right circle, Seattle zone. Dewar to the net. Save made by Ross. And he hangs on. Connor Dewar, pretty crafty play, won the face-off and then flicked it off the backhander trying to catch Ross off guard, but stayed with it. As more bodies converge in front, and we have now 10:51 to go in regulation.
And he too paid a price there after the puck was covered up by Ross. That's one thing that maybe a little frustrating. We saw the Silvertips get sent to the penalty box when they buried Matthew Wedman when he was poking around in front of Dustin Wolf's crease, but Thunderbirds have really had their way, shoving the Silvertips, sending them to the ground. Cross checks from behind whenever they've got in and sniffed around Roddy Ross when the puck's been in his crease.
This is gutsy hockey here tonight. No score, 10:51 to go in regulation. Tips with a face-off, Manulin, left point to Fairbrother, and now takes it wide of the net. Knocked down in the corner and looking for Kindopp, but swung away by Tishka of Seattle and trying to clear, put it right back into Dewar. He battles Wedman against the boards. Jumping in Kindopp with Holmes nearby. 10:31 to go in regulation. Tied up 0-0. Last time these two teams meet in downtown Everett, regular season. To the point, Manulin. Left side, Fairbrother. Scoots it in deep and again broken up by Jared Tishka. A giveaway to Manulin, but caught it up to Wedman. Seattle back on the move as Williams right wing. Into the Silvertip zone, and a shot knocked away, and now countering is Fairbrother. Looking cross ice for Kindopp. 9-game winners this season. Right wing, threaded back in deep. Took a check from Bauer. Off he goes for a change. 10 minutes left here in regulation. To center, Rybinski dumps it in for Seattle. Wolf lets it go to Wyatt Wiley. Jumping out now with Christensen. And a long toss cross ice, Vitelli. Left wing Seattle zone, low wrist shot. Save made by Ross. He's stopping what he's seeing this evening. And a loose puck now picked up by Solvus. Third one across, Wiley's open. His shot blocked by Jake Lee. And Lee is shaken up as the whistle blows with 9:34 to go in regulation. Wyatt Wiley had a 1-0 game on his tape. Jake Lee shaken up. He needs help here from the training staff of the Thunderbirds. We'll step aside. No score in the third. This is Sound Transit, Everett Silvertips hockey on KRKO. Everett's greatest hits, sports, and more. 9:34 to go. Neither team flinching. 0-0 our score in period 3. Mike Benton, Justin Morrison, Keith Black with you. Glad you can be with us. Again, intense theater here for this I-5 rivalry game. One more to go for the two teams coming up a week here from tonight in Kent, Washington. Tips control deep in their own zone. Fairbrother up the left wing, out of the reach of Holmes. Kindopp and Williams pursue back in the Thunderbird end. And a loose puck to the blocker side corner of Ross. Funneled to the right side, Rybinski, but taken away. Left board's Fairbrother. Scoots it into the corner, pass one. Centering attempt off the side of the net. And leaving Ross here to cover up. And we have 8:56 left here in regulation. One more home game to go here for the regular season. Can you believe it? Tips take on the Victoria Royals for Fan Appreciation Night, March 16th. Opening face-off, 7:05 puck dropping at 6 p.m. For more info and tickets, go to everettsilvertips.com/tickets.
Gianni Fairbrother continues to show kind of his emergence, his offensive skill. He's been very creative over there. When he doesn't have a shot, he tries to look for other ways to play it. You can obviously shoot wide of the net. In this instance, he tried to play a little carom to himself, worked perfectly, and when he ran out of real estate, he just tried to throw it from an odd angle towards the front of the net.
Face-off left circle, Seattle wins it and clears it down courtesy Jake Lee, and we'll touch on him in a moment. It's icing. Lee sold out to block a shot from Wyatt Wiley and looked to be viciously shaken up as he got a shot, I'm not sure, toward the chest or the face, but that got his entire bench up cheering for him despite the sting he suffered.
Yeah, he was down and looking like he was in some serious pain, but got up to the ice and didn't miss a shift, I don't think.
8:45 to go in the third. Seattle controls and Richards feathers it back in. Blocker side corner of Wolf. Tips have Christensen and Manulin back on defense. There's now Phil battling into the right corner with Patterson. Joined out with Andrew Siak and Dawson Butt for the Silvertips. No score. Still into the trenches. Richards digs it out for Seattle and forced back up high. Will send to the corner. Christensen battling Kukucha. Patterson and Philp nearby. Patterson had it, gave it away. Richards, low wrist shot, kick save made by Wolf. Rebound, and Wolf trying to gather it in, and he does. And gets a whistle here with 8 minutes and 13 seconds left in regulation.
Another one where Wolf really had to fight to see that one through legs, through traffic, makes the save, and then even more kind of dancing around in front of his crease was Kukucha was there. So was a Silvertip defenseman. Nobody knew where the puck was, and Wolf just kind of waited it out until he could see an opening to dart the glove out there and cover it up.
Face-off right circle. Vitelli and Mount, Tips collect. And Kara for Ian Walker. Boards off the right glass, and Berezovsky hustling down to beat the icing call. And play continues as Berezovsky feeds it left corner. Gonsalves battling Ashton. Cycles Berezovsky. Low to high to the line for Kara, and trying to return it in deep. Berezovsky against Kubacheck. Forces one off of Gonsalves. Loose puck to the right circle, and just out of the reach of Vitelli. Inside 8 minutes left in regulation. Ashton long outlet. Sails all the way through, but play continues with no icing. Care for the Silvertips collecting. Long toss left wing. That goes down. It's icing on the Silvertips, and so this next faceoff's going to come back all the way. With 7:35 to go in regulation, tied 0-0.
Tips demon there. I think it was Saban Care behind the net. Trying to force the issue with a long stretch pass. He gets so much on those passes. Very difficult to get the deflection. Vitili was there, but officials determined he didn't get a stick on it.
Face off in the right circle. Tips control and Kara hit by Nolan Volkin. Silvertips got the clear, and Holmes now met by two Thunderbirds back at the red line and trying to force it all the way past Williams. Rybinski took it away. Cross ice feed, and Wedman chips it in. A foot race down to the left circle as Wedman centering attempt knocked down by the Silvertip defense, and Saban Kara got in the way. On the counterattack, Bryce Kindopp anchors it back in with Holmes pursuing into the right corner with 7:01 to go in regulation. Our score 0-0 as Kubacheck gives it away to Dewar. Cross ice Fairbrother to the top for Wiley, whose wrist shot is knocked down, and Seattle takes off. Here comes Rybinski with Dewar back checking. Dewar catches up Rybinski, centering Tiska, and blocked by traffic as Dustin Wolf got knocked into the net. Off comes the net. 6:44 to go in regulation. And now Dustin Wolf shaken up. With this game still tied 0-0. And Jared Tishka, oh so close, but again the Silvertips and maybe even Wolf as well a little bit selling out.
Absolutely, there's a lot to digest there because it was a 2-on, well, I don't know how to describe that one. Dewar got back in time to slow Rybinski up, but there was then a real battle of positioning. Wedman in there alongside Wiley. They ruled that Wiley got called for the hook there and slowed up Wedman. Rybinski was definitely trying to center it, but then that's when kind of everything happened. You got Wedman going into Wolf, knocking him and both of them into the post, knocking it clear off. And the tough break from Seattle's perspective is that the puck made its way to defenseman Jared Tishka, last person involved in that play, and he would have had a wide open net to shoot at had it not come off its moorings, but it did. So despite the fact that he tried to shoot it in, it doesn't count, but the Thunderbirds do go onto the power play.
What a plot twist. Wolf's okay, by the way. Just had a minor equipment issue that he's fixed, but now the Silvertips trying to batten down the hatches, so to speak. Keep this game tied as Seattle on their third man advantage. Face off left circle, Tips collect. Christensen finds Manulin, left side, then clears it back down. No score, 6:31 to play. Here in this third period as Tishka delivers to center ice, and dropping it for Noah Philp leads Seattle 28 power play points. Right side Kakucha. Into the corner for Philp. Bumped by Artyom Manulin. Plenty of gap up the middle, and down it goes.
2 for 2 on the clears. Big face-off win initially that Manulin cleared, and then right there just took Philp, bodied him out of the play, and then sent it clear right up the middle.
6:06 left. Philp to Wedman. Left side cutting in wide, and now knocked away by Kara behind the net. Loose puck in a foot race. To the right boards, Andrew Siak is there. Beat his man Rybinski and cleared back down. 5:51 to play here in the third. Kindopp jumping out with Saban Kara, Gianni Fairbrother, and Max Patterson. 0-0 our score as Tishka shoots it back in from the red line. And around to the right side. Kara, again plenty of room up the middle, and clears to center ice. Jake Lee collecting. Threads it back in. Blocker side corner of Wolf. Puck sitting in behind the net. Fairbrother can't clear. Mount sets up. Right circle. Vulcan centering attempt picked off, and Bryce Kindopp wasting little time sends it down.
A little bit of a misstep by Fairbrother, but that it was returned. The favor was returned by Vulcan, the captain for Seattle.
Jake Lee now hoisting this one all the way through, and did we just get Nolan Yaremko deja vu?
Yes.
That's out of play, and the Silvertips are arguing delay of game because Jake Lee tried to dump that one in and caught nothing. It went over the glass.
I am absolutely befuddled as to what Jake Lee was doing. Also throw in the fact that we referenced the Yaremko incident earlier tonight, and that was exactly what happened, except Jake Lee was on the power play from his own zone. 2 feet inside of his own zone, 3 feet just below the Tulalip Tribes logo there on the ice, and he whistled that one. I mean, Mike, That was halfway up the netting on the other side. It wasn't close. I don't know what he was thinking.
I mean, any further, that thing might be winding up on the trestle in Lake Stevens. And that makes Matt Odetster a little bit back on the bench. 4-on-4 for 25 seconds, Tips control. Manila to Christensen, left point, and sends it in behind, out of the reach of Robbie Holmes. Loose puck left side. Tishka clears it ahead for Kukucha, turned away, Silvertip blue line. Countering is Manulin for the Silvertips, right wing for Holmes. Into the offensive zone. Loose puck, Manulin is there. Into the slot, now cuts right side. Fed one in front, Vitelli! Save made by Ross. Rebound loose in front. And Holmes sends it back. Manulin to Christensen. Tips the man advantage. 1:25 to go on that. Coming oh so close. Still tied 0-0. 4.5 to go in regulation. Kubacheck for Seattle bangs at far boards and down it goes.
Oh, that was a terrific thought and well-executed pass from Manulin. Vitelli, though, on his backhand over there from a really tight angle, almost got it in.
Wiley ahead to Fairbrother. Left wing into the zone for Holmes. Center point feed for Wiley. Right side, Dewar, one-timer off the post. Rebound loose, and Dewar collects. From the right at boards. Dewar looking pass and trying to fake out Vulcan. At the hash marks. Sends one now, backdoor in front. Fairbrother for Kindopp and knocked away by Bauer. Resetting is Fairbrother at the left boards. Protects and swings it back, but out of the reach of Zach Andrusiak, and down it goes again.
Had a really good idea to try to get it to Andrusiak from a good shooting position, but it was just out of his reach.
3:38 to go, and Dewar for Kindopp, right wing, Seattle zone, takes it wide of the net. Now in back of the cage, wheels it, left boards for Fairbrother. Resetting for Kindopp, and now pinned by Bauer against the left sideboards. 14 to go on the Jake Lee penalty. No score, 3:21 to go in regulation. Loose puck picked up by Sean Richards. Seattle clears the center. Copped it up to Connor Dewar. Brings it back into the zone. Nice move by one. And now a whistle because it looks like offside the call, and that's a tough break for the Silvertips. And play to 5 aside now with 3:10 to go in regulation.
Yeah, Sean Richards could have ended the power play. Look, had the puck on his stick and fanned on the clearing attempt. Dewar, with the second sticking off, decided to go right back into the zone, and I'm not sure what Silvertip it was. It was just a little late getting out of the attacking zone. Led to the offsides.
Tips go Butt, Patterson, and Holmes up front now as Butt will send it in. Manulin and Christensen back on defense. 3:02 to go in regulation. No score. Wedman for Seattle. Caught it up nearly in deep. And a bouncing puck for Holmes at the circle. Looking off Patterson. Spiked away by Simon Kubacheck. Nolan Vulcan clears. Knocked down from the line by Jake Christensen. Loose puck to Wedman, tied up. And Manulin forcing his way to center. Leaves it right wing to the open. Dawson Button across the line. Snapshot low. Save made by Ross. Rebound to the right corner with 2:35 to go in regulation. A puck to Dawson Butt again right side. His shot blocked, and he's leveled by Nolan Vulcan. Tips fans wanting a penalty, but nothing coming. Rybinski through center. Lays it back in, which glances off the stick of Fairbrother. Rybinski centering Carpendale and blocked by Dewar. 2:15 to go in regulation. Bauer from the line. Save made by Wolf. Tips collect. Fairbrother clears high off glass. Kukucha knocks it down from the neutral zone. Chipped it back in. Kindopp took it away. Feathering one ahead, Andrusiak. Left wing, Thunderbird zone, snapshot. Blocked partially by Williams. Kept in from the line by Dewar. Looking off left side, turned over to Kukucha. Puck cleared to center. On a chip and chase, and Phillips stalled by Dewar. Is now Wiley. Well, thread one ahead, 1:44 to go. Copped it up. Vulcan sends it back in, but it's offside here, it looks like. And that brings the whistle with 1 minute and 42 seconds left in regulation. The Silvertips nothing, the Thunderbirds nothing.
This is like the late stages of a heavyweight bout, and they just start kind of swinging wildly. They're emptying the tanks. They're leaning on each other. That's a little bit what's going on right now. The legs, I think, are a little weary for both teams. We've seen sticks fly out of people's hands up in the air, trying to finish checks, open ice hits. It is all on the table here in the final stage of this third period.
Oh, by the way, if the playoffs open today, this will be the first round matchup. Funny how that works out. Centering toss. Wedman a backhander knocked away by Holmes. 1:27 to go. Loose puck, Wedman right corner. Low to high, at the line is Williams. Wrist shot, blocker saved by Wolf. Tips collect the rebound, Vitelli clears. Up ahead for Robbie Holmes, he'll stuff it back in from center red. Tips change up now as Williams collecting for Seattle. Lead toss off of Wedman. Manulin collecting back into the Silvertips end with 1:03 to go. Cross ice now for Christensen. He'll cruise left wing into the Thunderbird zone. Low wrist shot. Save made by Ross and down to a minute left. Sold out barn rising to their feet. 8,387 for Seattle. Carpendale tried to throw it in. The puck out of play from center, and we have 48 seconds left in regulation. Again, tied 0-0.
Well, both teams, trying to get over the finish line at this point. I think, they wouldn't mind taking that point. Both would deem it very, very valuable in this race. But Silvertips have been a little scary behind their own net. They've allowed the Thunderbirds a couple of looks out in front. Volk and Wedman, the last two instances, they got to be very careful that they don't forget responsibilities, the Silvertips in their own zone.
Christensen throws it in, a loose puck now to the right circle. Philp collecting. Knife to center ice. Tips knock it down out of their own zone. Jay Christensen with 31 seconds left. Throws it in. Pinball by Tishka. Back to the Silvertip line. And Christensen resets to RTM Manulin. No score in the third. The lead toss right wing. This Bryce Kindopp. Down it goes. Icing is the call. And a face-off coming back all the way into the Silvertip zone now with 20.4 to go in regulation.
Oh boy, this becomes a huge face-off. I mean, they all are at this point, but 20 seconds left. Manulin didn't have any options there, just tried to rifle it right up the boards. Would have been a tough deflection for Kidnap to try and get a piece of. And this late stages here, not many opportunities left maybe to use a timeout. Coach Dennis Williams is going to use his right here.
And what will be after this, a face-off at the left circle back into the Silvertip zone. Following an icing call, so by design, you're prepared for the most important face-off of this game, but it also gives 5 Silvertip players a chance to catch their breath.
Yeah, that's really important because what you want is you want to obviously put the exact 5 bodies that you have the most trust in. You think can execute this defensive zone draw. Maybe a couple of guys that are good at the dot. Expect to see Connor Dewar out there certainly. But you want to know where your assignments are if you were to lose this draw. That is where it can get dangerous. Thunderbirds are pretty adept at setting a little bit of, those screening actions, rubbing guys off the face-off that might allow defensemen like Tishka to pull the trigger on a one-timer.
Face-off left circle, won by Seattle. Rybinski shot blocked. Back to the line and trying to bump one to the slot. Nearly a jumping catch by Patterson off his glove and dropping it, but he can't clear. Wedman to the right circle. Sends it wide, 8 seconds left. Vulcan turnaround shot. Glove safe in the left wing by Wolf. And hangs on right into the glove. Bodies converge toward the front, but a little more caution as far as letting out the emotions here. And now we have 5 seconds left here in this scoreless third period.
Well, you mentioned that sort of jump puck there that Patterson made a play on for the Silvertips. I'm glad Max Patterson, who was acquired earlier this year, goes 6'5", because he needed all of it, plus a little bit of elevation. Could have slipped a deck of cards under his skates as he went up and got that puck, because it was going to fall into a very dangerous area.
Almost kind of like a safety there for the Legion of Doom. Or Legion of Boom, I should say. Trying to keep it local. Tips win this face-off, and this one's cleared by Gianni Fairbrother. And we have now hit the end of regulation. Neither team flinching. 0-0 our score. And for the second straight meeting, these two teams will take it into sudden death overtime.
Well, at 0-0, I'll be interested to flip through the record books, Silvertips history, because I'm having a hard time thinking of a time when we played 60 minutes of scoreless hockey. But it has been a pretty thrilling in a different kind of way. Last night was sort of heart-stopping stuff against Tri-City. This has been just tense, a tense battle. I go back to that sort of boxing analogy where you just had 2 guys standing in there, the middle of the ring, going at it for the duration. A boxing match that goes the distance with neither player backing down, but neither boxer able to land the knockout punch, and that's what we've seen tonight. These teams have traded chances, traded hits, traded opportunities, but at the end of 60 minutes, there's nothing to show for it, so we've got to do a little more.
I mean, the Tips aren't playing that bad right now. I mean, they put 39 shots up on net, and you have to kind of give a little credit here to the Thunderbirds, who have elevated their game in a very tight U.S. Division matchup.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, yeah, we've been impressed with the way the Thunderbirds have looked. They have looked to be a very different team, and you know, Everett's got them by 10 on the shot count, but Thunderbirds, their goaltender, for that find in Roddy Ross, I mean, that might be the biggest reason that they're a lot more competitive here in these games lately against Everett.
And right now on the inside track here for the last playoff spot. As we are into overtime now, tied 0-0. The Silvertips 3-2 in overtime this season. Seattle is 3-5. These two teams have gone to OT twice in this head-to-head series. Seattle won the last matchup in an overtime goal by Jared Tishka. And the Silvertips won the first meeting as well on a Connor Dewar goal back in the 5th of October. So if the Silvertips pop the winner here, they clinch home ice advantage in the opening round. Because Spokane's winning right now at Tri-City 4-2. Overtime underway for 3-on-3. Wiley, Dewar, and Kindopp out for the Silvertips. As now Dewar cruising down the right into the offensive zone. Now held up into the right corner. Controls on the walkout, hangs on. Dewar now skates all the way back to center. He'll try it again. Seattle's got Tishka, Wedman, and Kubacheck out here for 3-on-3. Dewar now picks up speed. Left wing and across the line. Hits the brakes, top of the circle. Now stationed back at the line. He'll feed it to the right side for Wiley. Dewar now signals for a change, and Zach Andrusiak, the ex-Thunderbird, jumping out now. 4:15 to go in the overtime. Wiley ahead for Andrusiak, right wing. Into the offensive zone now, cutting left side for the win, and shoots it wide. Rebound off the right boards to center ice. RTM Manula now chased by Wedman. A battle up the left boards, and Wedman now pinned by Manulin. Christensen trying to help out. Andrusiak is still out there. Tips collect, and Manulin threading a long pass ahead. Knocked down by Andrusiak, but enough to create a change here. As Williams feeds it ahead for Philp in the relay. Rybinski taken away from center. Robbie Holmes skates it back in for the Silvertips. Right side. Holmes pulls up. Fed one across. Manulin plays it off the left boards with 3:33 to go in the overtime. All tied 0-0. Seattle back on the attack. Rybinski up the left wing for Noah Philp. Brings it in across the line. Into the slot, and Philp cruising over to the right side. Will double back all the way to center with 3:17 to go in the OT. Philp brings it back in. Left wing, his snapshot, save made by Wolf. And that's the puck drop into the mitts, and he hangs on now with 3:11 to go in overtime.
There were some interesting changes going on there. Bodies changing out on the ice as Everett, with the sustained possession early, allowed them to get 3 new bodies out there. But as Manulin had to go back and get the puck, Seattle finally got some fresh bodies out, even things up, and then good job by the Silvertips to stay with Noah Philp. He's been very aggressive tonight, was trying to create something for himself. Silvertips turned him away once and then forced him to a long shot second time.
Face off left circle and a false draw, so we'll try it again here with the Tips dispatching Kindopp, Wiley, and Zach Andrusiak. Kindopp entering today, 9 game-winning goals, leads the Tips, tied for second in the league. And Kindopp wins the face-off, and forcing one all the way back to the Seattle zone is picked up by Jared Tishka. 3:03 to go in the overtime, scoreless game. Tishka now left side, copped up. Here comes Bryce Kindopp, looking for the win, right wing. Skates in, upended to the backboards he goes. No penalty. Puck kept in by Wiley. From the right side, looking in front. Copped up to Vulcan. Seattle back in the counter. Vulcan left wing into the offensive zone. Shoots one, missed the net. Rebound rolls all the way to center. The Tips may have numbers here. Kindopp ahead to Andrusiak. Right wing and across the line. Wiley took the feed, but locked up by Owen Williams. Tips go for a change. Vitelli jumping off the bench, and Wiley replaced by Jay Christensen. 2:20 to go here in the overtime. Williams for Seattle. Leaving it behind his own net. And now skate up the left wing. Getting on past Dewar, picks up speed and across the line, shoots one off the pipe. Rebound loose, right side of the corner, and the Tips get a break. Jake Christensen out battles Richards. Dewar couldn't get there. Kubacheck right side, skates in, shoots, save made by Wolf. Dustin Wolf, clutch save, number 31 this evening. Game stays alive into overtime, 0-0, 1:48 to go. Here come the Silvertips with Vitelli left wing. In front of him, Jake Lee, who took it away. The two now wrestle into the corner. And the puck now scooped up by Sean Richards. He's got 4 game winners this season. Tips get Holmes, Dewar, and Christensen out. 1:31 to go in the overtime. The crowd again picking up noise as Jake Lee threads a feed left wing Rybinski and broken up by Christensen. The two tangle into the corner as Rybinski to the blue line for Lee. Looking off toward his left and will take it all the way back to center as Seattle resets. Lee bounces one for Philp. Left wing, cuts into the slot, hangs on, shoots and missed the net. Rebound to the far corner, Rybinski controls. Hangs on, centers, and just wide off of Philp. Tips collect, Andrew Siak lead toss. He blew a tire. Couldn't find Holmes at center. Seattle takes over. 53 seconds left in overtime. Take away Andrew Siak. Got by one. Into the slot. Lost the puck though. And chipped away by Philp. So many near misses here for the Silvertips. As Philp brings it back in left side. Silvertip zone. Sends it back to Vulcan. Trying to cruise over right side. Vulcan into the slot. Wade shoots. Save made by Wolf off the stick. Rebound far boards and Tishka battling Dewar. Manulin steps in. Trying to sneak past Vulcan. He collects and back in the Tips. In overtime, 19 seconds left, we're scoreless. Manulin dropping it for Dewar. Off the right boards. Dewar hangs on into the slot. Now dropping it for Kindopp right side. In front of him is Vulcan. The feet of the corner, Dewar. In front now for Kindopp. Knocked away by Tishka. Loose puck, here's Dewar. Shoots, save, rebound, score! Game over! Bryce Kindopp bringing down the house. 0.4 ticks on the clock. And the Everett Silvertips again got it out this Saturday evening in front of a sold-out crowd. A 1-0 win over the Seattle Thunderbirds in sudden death overtime.
Absolutely breathtaking stuff. And Mike, I just wonder right now, absolutely thrilling finish. The Thunderbirds haven't left their bench right now, and I think it's because you got to go back to the middle stages of this overtime period. They rang the crossbar on one opportunity, and they were signaling as though they thought it went in the back of the net. It would have been very tight, would have been in and out in a matter of moments, but that's what they want the officials to look at. But I don't think they're going to get it. I've seen the off-ice officials give the thumbs up. Mike, I think this is a win for the Silvertips.
It's coming down now to Ryder Cup-like gamesmanship here. Tips converge at center here to celebrate. As Bryce Kindopp popped the winner with 0.4 to go on the clock. Once confirmed, it is his 10th game winner this season. Dewar the assist. RTM Manulin a helper as well. That will do it. The curtain closing on both benches. The Silvertips and Thunderbirds shuffle off. With the win, the Silvertips clinch home ice advantage in the opening round of postseason play and knock the magic number down to 3 for the U.S. Division title. We thank you for joining us once again for this thriller. Final score in sudden death overtime. The Everett Silvertips 1. The Seattle Thunderbirds 0. For Justin Morrison and Keith Black, this is Mike Benton. Stay tuned. Your postgame show is coming up next. Brought to you by Tulalip Resort and Casino. And this is Sound Transit. Everett Silvertips hockey on KRKO, Everett's greatest hits, sports, and more.